Classic Star Trek. Think you've seen it all? Well, not if you haven't seen the preview trailers, nearly 1/3 of which contains content that never made the final cut. We're about to uncover a treasure trove of hidden gems from Star Trek's preview trailers, and we're starting right now. Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and welcome back to Metatrek. I've divided these nearly lost moments from classic Star Trek into 4 categories: alternate takes, unfinished effects, special captain's logs, and deleted material. First up, let's delve into the 13 alternate takes spanning all 3 glorious seasons of the original series for a taste of what might have been. We'll kick things off with the psychic and psychotic prodigy, Charles Evans, using his telekinetic powers to push Kirk and Spock hard enough that they break a wall. I sure hope that Rand gets her deposit back. Due to coverage from this angle, this clip was trimmed from the episode, but eventually made its way into the preview. I've blended them back together here. We'll beam down to Dr. Corby's underground lair for our second alternate shot. This one is found in What Our Little Girl's Made Of. It turns out that Ruck, the menacing android left behind by the old ones, had a knack for imitating voices. Ruck not only imitates Kirk, but delivers an alternate line in the trailer.
Captain, are you all right? You sound tired.
All under control, Mr. Spock. Fine, Mr. Spock.
Dr. Corby has made some fascinating discoveries.
Stand by for regular contact. Kirk out.
According to the revised final draft of the script, it's the trailer that gives us the correctly scripted line.
All under control, Mr. Spock.
Which sounds more like an answer an android would give, instead of
Fine, Mr. Spock.
It's ironic that we hear Ted Cassidy's voice in an earlier episode, but we don't see his face. And here we see his face, but when he first speaks, it's Kirk's voice we hear. Cassidy's earlier voiceover just happens to be the subject of our next alternate take. I am, of course, referring to the Corbomite maneuver. Cassidy delivers a couple of alternate lines of dialogue not heard in the final episode. In the preview, he says,
"Regretfully, your ship must be destroyed. We grant you 1 minute.
Instead of,
Your ship must be destroyed. We therefore grant you 10 Earth time periods, known as minutes."
You know, it's a shame that when they went in and replaced the special effects, they didn't take the opportunity to use the line from the preview to fix this glaring omission.
1 minute. I knew he would.
It would have been easy enough to fix. In fact, I've taken it upon myself to do just that.
1 minute.
1 minute.
I knew he would.
So, after 55 years, we finally experienced this moment the way it was originally intended. The preview for the Menagerie Part 1 includes an extended clip, highlighted here by the change in background seen through the window.
You know why I've come, Captain. You know why I've come, Captain.
There's also an alternate take of Spock kneeling before Pike. In the preview, Spock directly mentions Kirk, unlike in the final episode.
I know it is treachery against Captain Kirk. I know it is treachery and it's mutiny. But I must do this. I have no choice.
The preview for Conscience of the King offers us an alternate shot of Kirk tearing apart his quarters in search of a phaser on overload, and a glimpse under Kirk's mattress, where we can see the decidedly non-futuristic particle board used in constructing his bunk, rendering this take unusable in the episode. It's like they beamed us straight into the blooper reel. We also get an alternate shot of the hidden phaser. The last 10 seconds of the preview for Court Martial features the epic fight between Kirk and Finney, comprised completely of alternate shots, not one frame of which appears in the final episode. The Alternative Factors preview has a bonus shot of Kirk not seen in the finished episode, as well as an alternative clip of Kirk and Spock looking up at Lazarus, trimmed from the beginning of what's shown in the episode. We finish out the first season with one of the most gut-wrenching lines in all of Star Trek. A close-up of Spock telling Kirk that
Jim, Edith Keeler must die.
Using this close-up really expresses the impact of what Spock is saying.
After these messages, we'll be right back. We now return.
Heading into the second season, just like the previews for Charlie X and the Alternative Factor, this alternate take of Kirk from the preview for Who Mourns for Adonias ends exactly where the clip in the episode begins. The preview for Metamorphosis uses an alternate take of Nancy Hedford saying,
"No, I don't want to die,"
which is from the same shot that bookends the scene. The Trouble with Tribbles preview has 2 rare gems for us. First, there's an alternate shot of McCoy announcing his discovery regarding the tribbles.
Jim, I think I've got it.
All we have to do is stop feeding.
Once we stop feeding them, they stop breeding.
And wouldn't you know it, he's holding the white tribble in the opposite hand.
Now he tells me.
Also, there's a close-up of a tribble squirming in Kirk's chair. But wait, that's not Kirk's chair. The leather on the captain's chair is smooth like ice, and this chair is upholstered with tufts. Consulting this charming book, I quickly ascertained that the chair in question was actually from Mr. Lurie's office on board Deep Space Station K7. We round out this section with Return to Tomorrow, featuring another clip with an alternate line. In the preview, Thalasia, in the body of Dr. Ann Mulhall, says,
"I could destroy you with one thought."
but in the completed episode she says,
"I could destroy you with a single thought."
we'll return to Tomorrow in the next section. Our only third season entry in this category comes from That Which Survives. The countdown to the Enterprise's apparent demise has a completely different edit in the preview, with a couple of alternate shots thrown in for good measure. The preview also provides an explosive conclusion to the countdown.
7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1.
It's gone. The Enterprise, it's gone.
Whereas nothing happens in the episode itself. They pulled the same stunt way back in the preview for the Corbomite maneuver. In the preview, the countdown also ends with a devastating explosion, whereas in the episode itself, nothing really happens at all.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We'll return after these messages. We now return.
Next up, we've got Unfinished Effects, the only category that is comprised mostly of third season episodes. But we begin way back at the beginning of the first season with a simple phaser animation missing from the preview for The Enemy Within. There's a bit more to explore in the preview for Return of the Archons, the only other first season entry in this category. We have two unaltered shots of Landru. First, this headshot, and then another shot from the waist up.
And Landru, for the good of the body, you must die. You must die.
These clips are taken from two different points in the episode.
I am Landru.
Is from Landru's first appearance, and the rest is from the Great Hall at the end of the episode. Moving on to the second season, the preview for Who Mourns for Adonias features several differences from the finished episode.
Welcome to Olympus, Captain Kirk.
When Apollo does his Goliath impersonation, in the preview his leafy crown can be clearly seen, unlike in the finished episode, but his feet, they're missing entirely. And different animation is used when Apollo zaps Scotty. It's red in the preview and white in the actual episode. And we see the raw footage of Apollo's unwelcome advance on Lieutenant Palmas, again filmed against a black background, which in the final episode is superimposed over a stormy sky. And next we return to the Cat's Paw preview for a clearer look at these less than inspiring muses that, like Landru and Apollo, were filmed in front of a black backdrop and were transparent in the episode. The makeup artists deserve an Emmy for these lovely faces, even though these two sisters are sharing a set of eyebrows, while this one doesn't have any eyebrows at all, apparently due to budgetary constraints. The echo effect is missing from Spock and Mulhall's voice in the trailer for Return to Tomorrow.
I could destroy you with one thought.
Hail, Captain. Hail, Captain.
Making it sound like normal Spock is talking about killing Kirk instead of Hennick.
It is therefore necessary for you to kill your captain, so that Sargon will die with him. It is therefore necessary for you to kill your captain, so that Sargon will die with him.
Now that's quite a twist. Moving on to the third season, the preview for the Enterprise incident offers a full-frame version of the Romulan bridge that, in the final episode, is shown matted on the bridge view screen. We'll check back in with the mysterious Romulans in a bit. When Gene Roddenberry viewed the dailies for And the Children Shall Lead, he was rather unpleased with Melvin Belli's performance as the Gorgon, and so, at his behest, a green glow was added to the lawyer-turned-non-actor in an attempt to cover over his poor performance. But luckily, the green glow is missing in the preview, giving us a better look at the putty they smeared all over his face. A noteworthy parallel to the green glow added to the Gorgon is the green aura signifying Spock's accidental exposure to the Medusan ambassador in the preview for Is There in Truth No Beauty? Fortunately, this badly matted green glow didn't appear in the final episode. In the preview for Wink of an Eye, Compton's vanishing act is unadorned. It's a simple cut from a moment when the actor was in the shot to a moment after he steps off screen. McCoy's position jumps slightly at the exact same moment Compton vanishes. In the finished episode, McCoy's image remains steady, although they do cut away pretty quickly. The preview for The Empath also contains a less fluid version of a special effects transition. This time it's the healing of Kirk's wrist wounds that offers us a glimpse into the technical challenges faced by the production team. Elan of Troyes offers us a special treat, our only peek inside a Klingon ship. The preview provides us with a full-frame look, whereas in the final episode the shot is trimmed and matted into the bridge view screen. Comparing this bridge to the Romulan bridge we saw in the Enterprise incident, we can see that they look nothing alike, even though both are located on board the same D7 class battlecruiser. Klingons are known for keeping their ships bare-boned, opting for functionality over flair, whereas the Romulans apparently sprang for all the bells and whistles. The color of the Klingon phaser fire was changed as well. They're red in the preview and green in the finished episode.
We'll be right back. Minute Trek returns.
Now on to the third section, Special Captain's Logs. Most of the previews for Star Trek's first 2 seasons begin with a Captain's Log, with most of these lifted straight from the episodes. But 15 previews from the first season feature specially written log entries. And one even contains a deleted log. More on that later. First up is The Man Trap, one of 5 previews featuring a stardate that's not in the final episode.
1324.1
instead of
1513.1.
Followed by a completely unique Captain's Log.
Captain's Log, stardate 1324.1. On planet M113, we encounter a killer from a lost world.
Next is the preview for the second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before. This is the only preview that Kirk begins his log entry with.
The next mission of the Enterprise takes us into an unknown...
Being the preview for a pilot episode may account for the different lead-in. Here's the full log entry.
Captain's Log, stardate 1312.4. The next mission of the Enterprise takes us into an unknown force field which affects the destiny of my closest friend.
The Captain's Log in the preview of Mudd's Women shares its stardate with an actual log from the episode, but the entry has been rewritten to be more general in tone and more suitable as an introduction to the episode. Here are the 2 versions of the log entry back to back. First the preview.
Captain's Log, stardate 1329.1. The Enterprise brings aboard the survivors of an ill-fated vessel.
Now from the episode.
Captain's Log, stardate 1329.1. We've taken aboard from unregistered transport vessel its captain and 3 unusual females. These women have a mysterious magnetic effect on the male members of my crew, including myself. Explanation unknown at present.
And the music heard in the preview is lifted from this shot in the corridor. The 4th preview on our list comes from the 9th episode to air, What Are Little Girls Made Of? It features an edit of the episode's only Captain's Log, but with a unique final line that sets up Kirk's dilemma.
Captain's Log, stardate 2712.4. Planet XO3. Dr. Roger Corby has been located, and I have become a prisoner in his underground world.
Although the preview for the Corbomite maneuver and the first Captain's Log from the episode share the same stardate, their content is completely different. And it's unique in that the preview doesn't lead with the Captain's Log, but rather with Sulu's first line from the episode.
Sir, contact with an object. It's moving toward us.
Captain's Log, stardate 1512.2. The Enterprise and crew are held captive by a strange alien vessel.
Now from the episode.
Captain's Log, stardate 1512.2. On our 3rd day of star mapping, an unexplained cubical object blocked our vessel's path. On the bridge, Mr. Spock immediately ordered general alert. My location, sickbay, quarterly physical check.
The preview for The Menagerie Part 1 uses a stardate from the Corbomite maneuver, which this preview aired with on the same night.
Captain's Log, stardate 1512.2.
An observant viewer might have noticed that the same stardate was reused in the preview. Technically speaking, the rest of the log entry comes from another episode as well, The Menagerie Part 2, although it's slightly different than what we eventually hear in the episode. It is, however, worded exactly as it was in the final draft of the script.
Why does Spock want to take us to that one forbidden world in all the galaxy? His former captain, mutilated by a recent space disaster, and unable to speak or move.
Now from the episode.
Why does Spock want to take to that forbidden world his former captain, mutilated by a recent space disaster, now a shell of a man, unable to speak or move?
And speaking of the Menagerie Part 2, its preview is by far the most unique preview of the entire series. Spock narrates instead of Kirk, and it's the only first season preview not to be presented as a log entry. Instead, Spock invites us to return next week for the exciting conclusion.
This is Mr. Spock. You'll learn next why returning Captain Pike to Talos 4 was worth risking my life and Captain Kirk's career. Join us then to see the conclusion of the incredible adventure on that forbidden planet.
Ending with a not-so-subtle homage to the movie The Forbidden Planet, which had a major influence on Star Trek's creative development. This is also the only 90-second preview, making it 50% longer than any other preview of the series. This may be due to the fact that the Menagerie Part 1, the episode this preview aired after, was also the shortest episode of the entire series, and they may have lengthened the preview to make up for some of the difference.
You will find it an effective combination.
Or perhaps they shortened the episode in order to show a longer trailer for their only two-parter. The preview for The Conscience of the King and Balance of Terror both contain entirely unique captain's logs with unique star dates.
Captain's log, stardate 2817.2. Suspicion that a famous actor is in reality Kodos, the mass executioner, places the Enterprise and her crew in grave danger. Captain's log, stardate 1710.0. The Starship Enterprise is under heavy attack by an enemy vessel.
And Shore Leave's preview offers another prime example of an existing captain's log rewritten to better introduce the next episode. Let's listen to both, back to back.
Captain's log, stardate 3025.8. A planet which seems to be paradise is chosen for a shore leave, but things of fantasy, which are undeniably real, suddenly appear. Captain's log, stardate 3025.8. Investigation of this increasingly unusual planet continues, and we are seeing things that cannot possibly exist, yet they are undeniably real.
And there you have it. The captain's log from Return to Tomorrow's preview is a variation of the first log entry in the episode.
Captain's log, stardate 3113.2. The Enterprise, out of control. Maximum warp power in reverse propels us backward in time. Captain's log, stardate 3113.2. We were en route to Starbase 9 for resupply when a black star of high gravitational attraction began to drag us toward it. It required all warp power in reverse to pull us away from the star. But like snapping a rubber band, the breakaway sent us plunging through space, out of control, to stop here, wherever we are.
Court Martial's preview contains another log rewritten to provide a TV guide-style description of the episode's plot.
Captain's log, stardate 2949.9. Due to an accident in space, I have been relieved of duty, awaiting the verdict of a general court-martial.
Now from the episode.
Captain's log, stardate 2949.9. The evidence presented by the visual playback to my general court-martial was damning. I suspect even my attorney has begun to doubt me.
Like the preview for the Menagerie Part 1, the preview for Return of the Archons also uses a stardate lifted from another episode, this time from A Taste of Armageddon. The next episode in production order.
Captain's log, stardate 3192.1.
Followed by an edited log from the episode. Then there's the captain's log for the preview for The Alternative Factor, a variant of the first captain's log from the episode.
Captain's log, stardate 3087.6. Investigating an uncharted planet, we've encountered a badly injured human being. Captain's log, stardate 3087.6. While investigating an uncharted planet, the Enterprise, and at least this entire quadrant of space, has been subjected to violent, unexplained stress and force. Sensors have reported the presence of a human being on the planet below who might be connected with the phenomenon. With my first officer and a security team, I have set out in search of him.
And we round out this section with the preview for City on the Edge of Forever, which features a variant of the second log entry in the episode.
Captain's log, no stardate. McCoy has changed the course of time. Captain's log, no stardate. For us, time does not exist. McCoy, back somewhere in the past, has effected a change in the course of time. All Earth history has been changed.
These lost log entries, with their unique stardates and special narrations, certainly have added an extra layer of mystery to the original series. Here's a special bonus from the second season. Spock takes the mic for the second and final time in the preview for a piece of the action.
Ship's log. Mr. Spock reporting. Dr. McCoy and I are prisoners of the chief criminal boss of a society patterned after old Earth gangsters.
The episode doesn't provide a stardate, and neither does the preview, which contains an edit of Spock's ship's log, the only log entry from the episode. Also of special note, 3 second season previews didn't contain any log entry at all.
Captain's log, stardate unknown.
2 are from episodes that themselves had no log entries. The Doomsday Machine and Patterns of Force. The third, Assignment Earth, has 3 log entries, but doesn't provide a stardate. These previews set the pattern for the third season, where none of the previews provide a log entry. The third season previews also received a badly needed graphics upgrade. Gone is this generic 60s font, replaced with the proper Star Trek font, and a much more exciting shot of the Enterprise racing by at warp speed is used.
Metatrick will return after these messages. We now return to Metatrick.
Now for the category we've all been waiting for, deleted material. Ever notice that Yeoman Barrows is suddenly standing in front of the wrong tree in Shore Leave? I must admit that, until working on this video, I never did. Turns out, there's a lost scene where Don Juan shows up again.
Don't talk like that.
Here's the missing scene, reassembled using the footage from the preview and a set of stills I found on Memory Alpha. McCoy valiantly defends Barrows until the Black Knight frightens Don Juan off. When they excised the second encounter with Don Juan from the episode, they did a decent job at covering it up by splicing in the end of the previous scene. Then they cut back to McCoy and Barrows after their interaction with Don Juan, leaving Barrows standing in front of the other tree with no apparent explanation of how she moved. The preview for the Galileo 7 contains several lines of dialogue that were casualties of the final edit, a poignant reminder that the editing process was still in flux during the creation of these previews. Consulting the script, here's the best placement for these lost lines.
We have 2 days to find them.
2 days? In all that? 2 days?
What would you have me do? Turn around and leave them there?
You shouldn't have sent them out in the first place. Do you know what you've done? You've concerned yourself with only 7 people.
Captain, there's one planet in this solar system capable of sustaining human life. It's type M. Oxygen, nitrogen, and it's listed as Taurus 2. It's unexplored. It's just about dead center of the Murasaki effect.
You said something about a needle in a haystack. It's useless.
If they're not there, Commissioner, then they're dead by now.
It's getting hot.
There's also this unused shot of flames licking the windows of the shuttle, a visual cue of its descent into the atmosphere of Tarsus 2. I'm personally glad that they chose to exclude this shot, as it just didn't work. The preview for Space Seed contains the only deleted log that was reappropriated for the preview. Here it is, just as it would have originally played at the beginning of Act 3.
Captain's log, stardate 3142.3. Slightly over 2 centuries ago, a group of scientists planned for a race of supermen and created conquistadors.
A second half of this rather poetic log entry remains lost, however. And the preview for this side of paradise takes Spock and Layla on an unexpected detour along a stream. Originally intended to be where Kirk locates Spock after their awkward exchange over the communicator. This scene was reimagined on location by the director when he spotted a large branch wedged between 2 trees. And so we now have the infamous shot of Spock hanging from a tree branch.
Spock.
Luckily, this 4-second clip of the original take found its way into the preview. Now we finally get to see the best of both worlds. We go back underground for an unused shot of the Horta scuttling through one of her tunnels in the Devil in the Dark preview. And the preview for Cat's Paw brings us a deleted clip that's a real trick or treat, an unused clip of the blonde Sylvia approaching Kirk. Here it is, edited back into the episode. The Immunity Syndrome features a shot of Spock laying on the floor of the shuttlecraft taken from an otherwise unused and completely lost angle.
Come in.
And we return to tomorrow once again. After Spock says,
"Pain, Captain."
He then says,
"Exquisite pain."
A line that was not heard in the final episode. Our only third season entry is of a phaser shot from Elan of Troyes. Even though Spock is the one who's pulling the trigger, the insert makes it look like it's Kirk instead. Let's see if we can make this look any more accurate. There, that's better. Well, that's a wrap on our cosmic exploration through the uncharted territories of Star Trek's previews. Luckily, these previews have preserved footage that would have otherwise been lost, perhaps forever. Making this video has given me a new appreciation for this type of short-form video content. It truly is an art form all its own. Hopefully I've roused some interest in this rather forgotten part of Star Trek's history. And now that you've seen bits and pieces from several of these forgotten gems, you can see them in all their glory right here at Metatrek. Starting tomorrow, I'll be posting, in air date order, one preview every day until I've added them all. And before we go, I'd like to thank the amazing people who support this channel over on Patreon. I certainly couldn't do what I do without them. I've had some exciting video requests from my Patreons that I can't wait for everyone to see in 2024. Every bit of additional support makes it that much easier for me to keep these videos coming in a timely manner. So if that's something you'd like to be a part of, head on over to my Patreon page. To see more hidden gems from the Final Frontier, click on the video to the left, or on the playlist to the right. Thank you all for watching. As always, live long and prosper.